Dave O'Neill.
So I'll jump in there quickly and just to introduce everyone there. So Mental Health Month takes place 3rd October. On October 10th marks World Mental Health Day. This is a chance to come together to raise awareness about mental health and to share experiences and highlight the importance of looking after our well-being and supporting one another. Mental Health Ireland have said that the key aim of Mental Health Month is to ensure that the mental health and well-being are a priority for everyone across the country. And today's workshop is a chance for us to reflect on that in the context of our working lives. So with that, I'd like to welcome Adele and her co-presenters from Saol Clubhouse, who are joining us today to lead our session on mental health at work. So a big thank you to you all for collaborating with us on such an important topic. Adele, I'll hand over to you and the team now to introduce yourselves. I'll let you introduce yourselves without any slides sharing, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Adele. I'm the manager of Saol Clubhouse, Community Mental Health Service. So I've worked in mental health for over 20 years in psychotherapy and community settings. And I've also plenty of experience managing my own well-being. With mixed results depending on coffee levels, I'd say. But I think the key to managing mental health, definitely for me, is a mix of kind of professional knowledge, but more importantly, I think it's around self-awareness and kind of just learning from each other, our experiences and stories. So I'll pass you on to Anita there, just to introduce yourself.
Yeah. My name is Anita. I'm working in the Clubhouse the last 3 years. Before that, I was working in the mental health field for about 15 years. I have a master's degree in counselling and psychotherapy. And like Adele, I have a lifetime of experience of navigating through my own challenges, especially through the stages of life. In my own toolbox, my essential supports and tools would be my family, the gym, nature, and savouring the small moments in life. So I'll pass you on to David.
Hello, my name is Dave O'Neill. I'm a Clubhouse member for the last 6 years, work in the Little Museum of Dublin, member of a walking group gym, and have a lot of QQI experience which employers require. And I'll pass you on to Isabella.
Hi, everybody. My name is Isabella, and I have my own lived experience, and I'm a member in Saol Clubhouse for 9 years now. I'm also working as a civil servant 4 years. And sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. And I'm a wellness champion at work. I'm also a peer support volunteer in Hale Housing. And a mental health ambassador in Shine. I like hiking, and I did some of the Camino this last year. And I've experience in supporting family members and friends. And I also practice my self-care.
Thanks, Isabella. Thanks for that.
Your slides now, Adele, if that's
yeah, do. And I think Dave's going to start us off, just kind of running through the first few.
Start you off now. Thank you.
Brilliant. Can you see those okay?
Yeah.
Mental health at work. Tips, tools, and lived experience. Saol Clubhouse. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The presentation is a bit different. Rather than just facts about theory and the information, this presentation comes directly from our members' experience in the workplace. We ran a survey within our Clubhouse community, asked members about the challenges they faced at work, what supports helped them, and the tips and tricks they learned along the way. What we are sharing today is based on these voices and their lived experience, the things that actually made a difference day to day. The presentation is not just about mental health from an outside perspective, but from people who have been there. Clubhouse International, Introduction to Saol Clubhouse, Mental Health and the Workplace, Clubhouse Survey, Tips for Managing Wellness, Disclosure, wrap, and available support. Next slide, please. So just to tell you about Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an internationally recognized model for people who have experienced challenges in their mental health. There are over 370 clubhouses worldwide in over 30 different countries. Clubhouse supports mental health recovery through meaningful work, relationships, connection, and belonging. Clubhouse is an evidence-based model and has been proven to reduce hospitalization, increase health and well-being, as well as employment rates among members. The service is co-produced, meaning members and staff work side by side in the running of the service. We offer support predominantly in the areas of housing, education, socialising, and employment. Saol is one of 7 clubhouses located across Dublin and Kildare and is fully accredited service. It is a part of an E branch of the HSE responsible for the community mental health support services. Right now, we support over 80 members ranging from age from 24 to 73. Our members come from many different education and employment backgrounds, bringing a wide variety of experience. One of the main things we focus on at the Clubhouse is helping members gain and maintain employment. We provide support individually within our units and through our dedicated jobs club. We also connect members with specialist services when they need. Helping members re-enter the employment market is a core part of what we do. Our members differ not just in age, but also in their work experience, education, and family background. For example, some have left school early and never held a job, while others have a master's degrees and years of work experience. Mental health challenges vary too. Some have lifelong diagnoses, while others have each faced difficult life events that have affected their mental health. To meet these diverse needs, Saol offers a tailored approach and members can engage with the service in a way to meet their own personal goals. Mental health in the workplace. Mental health affects everyone at various times in their lives and in various ways. Therefore, maintaining well-being is something we all need to think about. According to the World Mental Health Organization, mental health conditions affect 1 in 5 people globally each year. Managing their well-being and being able to respond to mental health challenges when they arise is important for everyone, no matter where they are in life. For students and graduates, the transition into the workforce can be especially challenging. Many face issues like anxiety, depression, and stress during this period of change. There are several common stressors adjusting to a new role, adapting to workplace culture, managing workload, dealing with stigma, and trying to balance personal and professional responsibilities. When mental health issues go unaddressed, the impact can be significant. It can affect productivity, relationships, confidence, and overall quality of life. In our members' experience, it's important to talk about these challenges openly and ensure you know what support is available. I'll now hand you over to Anita.
Hiya. So why lived experience matters. It offers real-world insight. It can increase empathy and connection. It can offer opportunities for practical strategies to be created. It's very relevant to the workplace, and also it can inspire hope and empowerment. Our findings are informed directly from our members' stories and experience in the workplace. Hearing lived experience builds understanding and can help us reduce stigma. These tips and tricks come from trial and error in real life and not just theory. Members highlight what practical supports or barriers actually exist in their experience. The presentation will highlight that recovery and meaningful work are possible. So we're going to listen to a video. It's Sean, one of our members. Thank you.
My name is Sean. I'm a member in the Clubhouse for the last 2 years. I'm married with 3 children and 5 grandchildren. I've had a history of mental illness right through my working life and through my pension life. I always took my work very seriously. My work was very stressful because I had responsibility for making sure that the packaging was always there and not too much for the production, because it would mean that the factory would stop producing and the people be lying idle. And that was always in the back of my mind. But I, particularly in the early days when I was working there, I got very worked up and had a few nervous breakdowns and ended up in hospital. I mentioned to the management, you know, that, and they understood and they were very helpful. My manager was very supportive. He came out to my house when I wasn't well, you know, and he kind of gave me as much support as he could, you know. They gave me time off, but they wanted me back in work as soon as I could. But I was better off going into work, you know, because if I was out of work, I'd be thinking what's going wrong, you know, what worry, whatever, you know. And I felt it'd be better off if I was back in and faced music, so to speak, that I could do something about things that were going wrong when I was in work, but I couldn't be able to do it if I was out of work. I managed by taking my medication. I also took my medication, but I also had a keen interest in sport, and I played a bit of pitch and putt, and I attended a lot of soccer and Gaelic matches, and I was able to unwind doing that. I attended a recovery group for a number of years. I used to go once a week over to a place in Blanchetown for people that had a mental health issue that was called recovery. And there was one phase that stuck with me. The feelings aren't facts, you know. Symptoms are distressing, but they're not dangerous. You know, you might feel a bit nervous, but you'll get over them, you know what I mean. I would like to think that people were more understanding about mental illness in the workplace. There's still a stigma attached to mental illness, even though people are getting better at it. A lot of staff suffer from stress and mental illness, and if you don't have a clear program of help, things will only get worse, and there'll be self of hopelessness in the workplace.
Okay, so we conducted a survey within the clubhouse, and 80% of our members said that they experienced difficulties in their mental health while at work. We identified several key areas where there were challenges affecting people's mental health in the workplace. So one of those areas where it was the largest, 26%, was speaking up for yourself. Our respondents highlighted this as a difficulty and saying that many times they found it hard to find their voice or voice their concerns or set boundaries, and this impacted on their health and well-being. Followed by that were 22% of participants identified task completion and relationships with colleagues as being quite a challenge. And that indicates that maybe work-life pressures and social dynamics can play a significant role in impacting our mental health in the workplace. Other important challenges included relationships with managers and maintaining a work-life balance. Both were recognised by 17% of participants. This emphasises the need for supportive leadership and flexible work arrangements. Finally, role changes were identified by 13% of participants as causing stress and uncertainty when responsibilities or job roles changed. Overall, these insights help us understand the diverse challenges employees face and underscore the importance of creating an environment where we feel heard and supported in the workplace. So what helped? Asking for help, reaching out to managers or colleagues was a common and effective approach. Building resilience, adopting a fake it till you make it kind of attitude, helped people push through difficult times. A team attitude, kind of learning to tolerate other people, focusing on teamwork and being polite. The use of support services. Many relied on formal supports like helplines, workplace support services, as well as external resources like the clubhouses. And actually, members felt that these supports were vital. Managing workload, then delegating tasks and knowing when to say no helped manage stress. These real-life approaches remind us that mental health support comes from multiple angles: personal resilience, team dynamics, and organisational supports. These are naturally easier to apply when we work in a supportive culture. Knowing the supports that are available within one's organisation and outside of work can really help when people are struggling. Okay, then additional supports. Members also shared some of the insights about what they wished had been available to them, things they felt might have made a difference in managing their mental health. So one of the main themes was connection, having someone to talk to, whether it be a work colleague or a buddy. Many also highlighted a need for support around disclosure, knowing how to talk to managers about mental health challenges, understanding their rights, and putting reasonable accommodations in place without fear of stigma or discrimination. Having a supportive manager who understands mental health difficulties was another key factor, as well as the value of practical supports, things like being matched to suitable roles, having access to training and education to help build confidence around skills, or having flexibility around tasks and responsibilities. Finally, members also highlighted how important it is to support well-being outside of the workplace, through activities that reduce stress, such as hobbies, exercise, socialising, nature. These reflect the importance of having support, practical information and understanding from the workplace and interests outside of the workplace to help or contribute to a more successful work experience. Thank you. And then I'm going to hand you over to Edel.
Hiya. So, yeah, this list came directly, I guess we compiled, some practical tips based on the challenges people had and what they said helped. So, firstly, they were around setting boundaries. So finding a work-life balance and just the importance of maybe defining work hours, taking breaks. And a tricky one, I think, is learning to say no without guilt. We also had managing workload we felt was important. So this was around time management and tools like prioritizing tasks or, making lists or planners or breaking work kind of into manageable chunks. The next one was effective communication. And this was kind of, being able to ask for help, being able to ask for maybe the supports and the accommodations you need, and being able to maybe speak up for yourself. Stress reduction techniques. So learning what works for you, and for some people it might be, taking a short break or a brief walk, or maybe even just some mindful breathing. And it's obviously very subjective. Utilizing supports was another one. So knowing what supports are there, first of all. So it could be like the employee assistance program, it could be peer supports, maybe a clubhouse, maybe community supports. So we felt these strategies directly reflect what people shared, and they can make a real difference kind of day to day. So by setting clear boundaries, communicating effectively, managing stress and our time wisely, and kind of tapping into available supports, it can really support us, I guess, to feel healthier and just have a better work experience. So meet Maria. So Maria is one of our members in the clubhouse.
Hello everyone, I'm Maria and I'm a student and in fourth year of college. I have a mental health difficulty that makes day-to-day tasks difficult, especially at the workplace. I recently went to England on an internship as part of my college work, and I ran into some problems at work because of my illness. For example, I was very tired after lunch. I couldn't concentrate on my tasks. There was a lot of task load, and it was hard for me to manage it efficiently during the day. And I used to get nervous about completing the tasks on time and not letting it run over to the next day. But I was really apprehensive about talking to my manager about it because I thought she might see me in a different light or fire me. Or it was also difficult to become vulnerable in front of someone that I did not know that well. So during induction at my company, they talked to us about a helpline, a free helpline that's available 24/7, and it had trained therapists at the other end. So I mustered up the courage to call them, and they had a very positive conversation with me. They told me that I should talk to the legal team at the workplace, so they transferred me over. I talked to a solicitor there, and he told me that it's best if I make a disclosure to my manager because I'm protected under law, because a mental disability is considered a disability. And they have to provide me with reasonable accommodations before taking any actions against how I work in the workplace. So I talked to my manager. I was very distraught at first at the idea of talking to my manager, but because I talked to the person at helpline, I felt more at ease. I made the disclosure to the manager a couple of weeks into my internship, and she told me that I should have told her sooner when I first started work because she could have helped me even earlier than this. She made me feel really comfortable. She talked to me. She listened actively, and then she asked me if there's anything that she can do to help me manage my work. I told her I would be grateful if I could have an hour after lunch every day, or at least most days, to kind of have like a power nap during lunch and to get my energy back up to speed. She did allow that. I got a private room in the company. It was called the contemplation room, and it was a very like a low stimuli environment. And then I also talked to her about having more breaks in between my workday. So she said that I can go on a walk around the premise of the company. And she told me that I can have tea breaks or coffee breaks in between as well. These were the accommodations that she allowed. And it is a daunting and it is a very challenging thought or idea that you have to go up to your manager and be vulnerable with them. But the thing is, I really encourage people to take that step, find that courage inside yourself, and to take that leap of faith. It is going to be difficult, but you're going to get something out of it that's positive, hopefully, and most likely it will be positive. So don't be ashamed of your illness, or don't self-stigmatize yourself, open up, and so don't worry, and trust in yourself.
So just around disclosing, so I guess disclosing mental health challenges, it's a very personal decision. And just to know that there's no right or wrong. And just really the most important thing is that you feel comfortable and in control. And when thinking about disclosing, I guess to think about the workplace culture. So, is your workplace supportive? Is it understanding? And to think about who would you disclose to. So, ideally it would be someone you trust. Maybe it could be, a supervisor or HR representative, or it might even be an occupational health professional. And to think about what do you hope to gain from, disclosure. So are you seeking specific accommodations, or do you want to reduce some misunderstanding about maybe your performance? And thinking about, what will you share? So you don't need to disclose your full story, but just to share what you're comfortable sharing. To focus on the information that helps to explain your kind of needs or accommodations that, you know, you require to work at your best. And then what accommodations do you want? So just to be clear about the adjustments you kind of need to succeed, could be flexible working hours or breaks or a quiet workspace, like Maria there. But ultimately the decision to disclose is yours, and it should be based on what feels right for you. So know your rights. So in Ireland, laws protect you from discrimination based on your mental health condition. So this means that the employer can't treat you unfairly in hiring, pay, promotions. You're also entitled to reasonable accommodations. So these are practical changes that your employer can make, like adjusting work hours, you know, offering a quieter workspace, as we said, or allowing time off for appointments might be something that works for you. And the goal is to help you to do your job effectively. So it's important to know that your mental health details are confidential. And so employers must keep this information private and only use it to support whatever accommodations it is that you need. So you have equal rights to access training, promotions, and workplace benefits, just like anybody else. And, you know, importantly, you're protected from kind of negative consequences. So meaning that your employer can't punish you or treat you different just because you ask for accommodations or speak up for yourself about your mental health. Perfect. So just, I guess, you know, in spite of putting plenty of strategies in place, it's not uncommon to experience challenges. When this stress isn't managed, it can lead to burnout. And burnout is more common than we often realize, especially when we're starting out or sometimes pushing ourselves to progress at work. So the symptoms can include exhaustion, and this might be feeling tired, both physically and emotionally, that kind of doesn't get better with rest, or reduced efficiency. So tasks are taking longer, you might experience concentration dips, or you feel less productive even though you're putting in the hours. Or you might experience it as kind of being overly cynical or negative about your role or your organization. So recognizing these signs early is really helpful to kind of take action before things get worse. But even when we notice these symptoms, sometimes it can come with a bit of stigma or, you know, internalized shame, where we kind of blame ourselves. We feel like we're failing or that we're not able to handle something. And just important to know that, you know, burnout isn't a personal failure, and it's just a human response to stress. And acknowledging that is kind of a sign of strength and not weakness. So what can you do if you feel, you know, if you're experiencing setbacks or feeling overwhelmed? So practicing being kind to yourself, and that phrase that we often hear thrown around, it's okay to not be okay, is really important. And to reach out for support early. So it might be talking to a buddy, a colleague, or a mental health professional. And so to think ahead about what you can do if you don't feel supported. So who would you go to, you know, whether it be the employee assistance program or mental health services. And also importantly, I think just to remember that it might be a sign that the job isn't right for you, and that leaving can always be a really positive option and something that we often don't think about. So just taking care of your mental health at work is part of being kind of successful and sustainable in your career. So I'm going to pass you on to Isabella, who's, going to look at RAP with us.
We're gonna go look at the RAP program now.
Hello, my name is Jerry, and this is
Jerry.
And we're the two Jerrys that deliver the RAP programme, Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and it helps you to manage your own mental health in the workplace.
For those who don't know about RAP, it's a self-designed programme. You design it to help you deal with your with stuff that's going on in your life, no matter what environment that is, work or home or whatever. So yeah.
And in getting to know yourself, like you have a look at your daily maintenance. What is your daily maintenance, Jerry? Do you know what your daily maintenance are?
Yeah, one of my daily maintenance plans is to make sure I get up in the morning, because that's one of the hardest things that I do. So I have a set time every morning that I get up. And even if I'm going to sit back on the bed, I get up and make the bed and then sit back on it, because I know by making it I won't get back in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then there's also triggers. Triggers are everyday events that make us feel worse, whether it be in your personal or your work life. And what we do with triggers is try to put a plan in place to help you cope with these things.
And some of the triggers that you might be dealing with is work overload. There could be stuff going on in your family, bills or something like that coming in, and then you have to go to work and try and do your day's work as well. It's very important that you, even wherever the triggers are, that you have a good plan, a plan of action against them. Support is part of the RAP programme as well. And how well do you know yourself to pick the right supporters? You like being the captain of the team. You pick who you want around you. Only pick the best. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So the best supporter, can you go and talk to someone? Is there someone I can talk to when I need to? Who's there? Who's in the way? Who can I ask? What about you, Jerry?
Yeah, it's like the thing about support is it's really one of the important parts of it. The other thing is anybody that would like to to partake in a RAP programme can contact us on the email will be attached.
Absolutely. So get to know yourself much better by joining us in our RAP. Thank you.
So I actually, in my own lived experience, I did use RAP a lot. It's Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and it comes from America, and Saol Clubhouse from time to time run RAP courses. That was one of the tools I use to keep well and keeping the employment. So just to repeat what was said, like getting a job and the right role is very, very important. And also what resonated with me is that if your mental health is untreated, it can affect productivity and relationships and overall well-being. And then once you get the right role and you're feeling good, there's a number of supports that you can use. I have a list of things on the screen that I used, and I'd like to highlight a couple of them. For example, employability and the government initiatives, like the likes of Dress for Success. I think they run now under Work Equal, and I did use them. They provided me codes, and when I was looking for a job, they helped me with interview skills, and I used the Clubhouse heavily as well. The other great thing was the employment specialist in the. I attend Summerhill Primary Care Centre, and there was an employment specialist there, and I met up with her a few times, and she helped me with interview skills and also helped me with my CV and my introduction when I was doing my interview for my job in the civil service. There's many other ones, like the Hearing Voices initiative. Maybe some of you already heard about them. I used to attend them, or the Samaritan helpline. Say, if you really want to talk to somebody, you can always ring them from a quiet spot at work. Or in the civil service, for example, the employer provides opportunities to do psychotherapy in the workplace. You have to schedule them and get an appointment, but you can go and talk about either work-related stress or just even if anything in general that happens in work. Other great services, of course, Saol Clubhouse, I use them a lot. I ring in and I tell them how I'm getting on. The other ones, for example, if you want to upskill, if you lose your job or you're not working and you want to do a course, sometimes the courses can be pricey. So there's other supports, like for example, St. Vincent de Paul will help you with the course fee if you're stuck. So don't let that hold you back. You can see all the other support services on the screen. I developed a motto, actually. My motto is, you don't have to be afraid to go out to the workplace. There are so many supports available. They all want you to succeed. I came to this conclusion because I do a lot of peer support. And when I was looking for a job, I spoke to some of the service users who were on disability allowance because of their illness, and they kind of gave up trying to look for a job because they were afraid that if their benefit is taken away from them, they'll never be able to get it back. Well, that's not the case, because your mental health, if you have mental health condition, you're probably gonna have it all your life, and no one's gonna take away your benefits if you can't do the job. Even in the social welfare, you have the bird in your hand. The system wants you to heal and fly and, get out there and use your skills and feel, a whole person that is able to carry out jobs. And of course, you're going to have moments, you're going to have moments in work where you might have stress or anxiety or hear voices, but use your support services. And if you need, take a break, go out for a walk or just, remove yourself. So then we come to Maria's pro tips.
I have a pro tip for everyone. If you need to relocate for work, for example, go down to the countryside or come into Dublin or move to another country, I would really highly encourage people to register with their GP first, like as soon as possible, because I made that mistake when I was in England. I didn't register with a GP at first because everything was going well, and then when I needed help and I was in the EA&E, I had to fill in a lot of paperwork, and that delayed the time to get treated. Also, I need an NHS number if you're in England, and I didn't have one because I wasn't registered with a GP. So that's my pro tip. I would really encourage people to find a GP as soon as possible, and don't wait until you get sick, or don't wait until you need a GP. Do it beforehand.
Thank you. I'd like to add to the GP. I have a GP and I had this for many years, and sometimes if I feel I'm getting a bit unwell at work and I'm not able to cope as much, I take a day off, and it's sick day. You don't have to have the flu to take a day off. You can take a day off if you feel like your symptoms are coming back and you're feeling a bit paranoid about things, and you get a sick note and you can upload that on the system and you still get paid. You have sick days. And we came to a summary, and as we wrap up, it's important to remember that mental health challenges can touch anyone at some point during their working life, regardless of background or roles. Our members' experiences reflected in the survey highlight that managing mental health at work is an ongoing journey, and what works for one person might not work for another. Using workplace tools and strategies whether to manage your workload or navigate interpersonal relationships can make a big difference in managing your well-being. Disclosure of mental health is a very important decision. You have full control over it, how you share your story. There's no right answer, only what feels right for you. Lastly, developing a personal plan like the Wellness Recovery Action Plan or similar can be incredibly empowering. It helps you recognize your needs, identify what supports you best, and take proactive steps to thrive both personally and professionally. Any questions?
Thank you very much. We're just going to stop the recording there. And if anyone wants to come in with any questions, please feel free.